Hello everybody. I'm at my church's pond, which I affectionately call the Cottonwood Creek Baptist Test Pond, to make a run on Memorial Day of a maiden of my Dumas Whitehall. Now, a little more throttle. It seems to run good. I need to reset my speed controller, have a little more reverse to slow it down when I need to. It's a Dumas kit. It's out of production. I think I'm still need a little more stern ballast. I need to shift my ballast a little bit, but at low speeds you can kind of tell. But seems to be handling everything okay. That's flat out, which is a good speed for it. Of course, it's way over scale speed, but it looks good in the water, and that's all I care about. It's not a bad kit. It's a little problematic. One thing is out of production, so if we don't get lucky like I did and find one that's not, what's the best way to put this? Somebody doesn't think it's an investment opportunity, basically. So if you can get one at a reasonable price, it's not a bad little boat. However, it does not come with fittings. There's no guns, no fittings whatsoever. So some of my fittings, my Bofors, were printed up by some friends of mine. Scale was a bit off, so I had to trim them down, but they look good. I'm gonna get her back here, slow her down. Get her stop real quick here. So from a distance, it looks good, I think. It looks the part. My gun directors were modified Legos. The ship's davits were pieces of plastic sprue that I heated up and curved and played around with. Where'd she go? There she is. The mast is wood. I've already broke it once. Had to fix it. I'm not going to rig it till I've decided if I want to keep that, or go in and cut it all loose and redo it with a fiberglass rod and plastic or whatever, which I may do. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with her. The only real problem with this boat, it's a two-piece hull. You know, sometimes Dumas will make these kits where they've got a two-piece hull on the center line, so it's the left and right sides, which in itself is not bad. But this is a very, very, very thin hull. It's easy to sand through it. I put a plate in the bottom, glued to the hull, to absorb any forces of me pulling the battery in and out with a mild Velcro. And sure enough, on the second go around, it cracked the hull a little bit. So I fixed it, patched it. Eventually, I may go underneath the boat with a scab patch on the bottom and blend it in and repaint it. It may not look scale, I don't care. I want to be able to run the boat and enjoy it and not worry about it. Because, you know, that's what the whole thing's about. It's a model that you run in the water. It is not something that you leave on the shelf for the cat to knock off, you know. Cat thinks he's got torpedoes, he's attacking your boat. She's powered by a 2-cell lipo and a Zippkits 650 Outrunner, which is a big motor for this boat, but it's such a low kV motor. That's full bore on a fully charged lipo, that 2-cell, that is it. And that looks good. I like that. I think it looks decent. So I got plenty of power if I need it. Boat answers the helm well. I got the ballast about right this time, so it's not listing. That's even better. It's 1/96 scale, and this is the first 1/96 scale model I've ever built. And to be honest with you, I'm getting older. My eyes are getting a little bit worse. And I had to make up parts for it. You know, like some of the guns that I didn't get printed and things like that. So it's not perfect, and it was a kind of a pain in the butt. But I like how it came out. You could actually, you've got room in here. If you really wanted to, you could add lights to it. You could add, have the 50 caliber, 3-inch 50 caliber gun turn. You could do that with a micro servo. So there's things you could do with it if you wanted to. But it's a small boat. It's 23 inches long. For reference, a destroyer of the same scale, World War II or mid-war destroyer, say between the wars, the world wars, would be about a foot longer than this or longer. So the real boat was not a huge boat, you know. But they did an important job. They were escorts. They used them for sometimes for rescue ships. Just not really a destroyer escort, but they did what they could do. You know, they had depth charges for submarines. You had the 3-inch gun up front. They were really good for, I guess, with the 40 millimeter Bofors and the 20 millimeters for anti-aircraft work. You know, so they were kind of a cross between a warship and basically a how would you put it? Utility boat. But several of these things still exist to this day in different countries, South America and maybe Korea. You know, they're still using them. You know, so they were built well. They're good boats.
Minimum turn rate.
Yeah, I think I need to shift my ballast aft a little bit, which means I need to put the battery back a little bit. But you know, it's sitting up good. So I'm not going to gripe about it too much. I'm happy with it. I can slam her around and she doesn't seem to care. She leans over a little bit like the real one would. There we go. So yeah, I like it. I'm happy with her. Yeah, this is Cash Hargett in the Dumas Whitehall, signing off. Yep, we're still on patrol. I'm going to run her for about 30 minutes, which I got more than enough battery for that with this outrunner I'm running. And just see how long make sure she's not leaking. It's harder to do than you think, to try to keep the boat centered in the stupid frame and not ram it to the shoreline. So there we go. Let her head out to sea. High speed test run. Flank speed. There we go. There's flank speed. I gotta reset the speed control on this thing. A little better reverse action. Because right now it really doesn't do much at all with that small prop that's on this thing. So, but for a first run with the teething problems I had, I forgot to add that I'm running this thing on a 5200 milliamp lipo 2-cell. Hobby King HK30 speed control. Frsky receiver, Radiomaster transmitter, old GWS mini servo. And I still had to add a pound of ballast to it to get her set where she said. So, but I'm happy with it. I am going to eventually replace that mast. That mast is wood. I've already broke it once. I'll have to literally cut it out, break it loose, build a new one out of CF or fiberglass rod or plastic or something. Something a little less fragile. And when I do that, which I'm not doing it right now, I'm gonna run it for a while like it is, but when I decide to get gumption enough to do it, that's when I'll order some signaling flags and stuff, and I'll have her all flagged out. And I'll add the mast in the back and front, and U.S. flag hanging off this fantail, and signal flags on it. And it's sort of a looking part then. But right now, I like it. I'm happy with it. Now, how this boat would do in heavy weather, I don't know. I think if it's much over 10 mile an hour, I won't take it out. But it's a nice boat just to tool around the pond with and relax. I like it. So Dumas makes a good boat. You get their kits in the water, they're good kits. They are. They do run well. They can be a little problematic to build, but it's a kit. It's like a Danes Marine kit. It's a kit. You have to put the effort into it. So, if you can find one for between $95 and $120 and you want a challenge and something fun to build, do it. Don't pay $600 for it. They're not worth that. They're not worth $200. So, if you can find one at a reasonable price or trade for it or whatever, and there you go. You're in. Yep. I'm gonna run around the pond about another 15-20 minutes, and I'll check for leaks, and I'm gonna head to the house. Y'all have a good Memorial Day weekend.